Okay, you're on.
Proverbs 3:5 says, "Trust in the Lord with all your heart, and lean not to your own understanding." Now, why do you suppose that was in the Bible? Well, that's in the Bible so we can talk about cute little if it had beens. No, that's not why it's in the Bible. This is why it's in the Bible, okay? Verse 4. "So you will find favor and good repute in the sight of God and men." So you will find favor in the eyes of God and in the eyes of men. What person on the face of this planet would not my computer messed up, would not give everything he owned for that? Because if you know, you could gain twice as much. Gain the trust of men and God alike is something so well worth working for that most men seek out secrets of life trying to figure out, how can I get a new car? How can I get a new house? How can I have enough to live on when I am old? And this is the answer right here. Men, they look every place in the world. They rob banks. They steal. They lie. They cheat. They argue their way through life, and it's standing before God on Judgment Day, answering to all that you've done, and the Lord's going to say, you know, didn't you read my word? You know, I left you a roadmap. I left you instructions on how to do all that, but you didn't think it was worth picking up and taking a look at it. You suffered. You have not because you asked not. My son he's in a terrible position, man. He's got 2 ladies. He's got both of them pregnant.
No, one had
one pregnant, one's already had the baby. So, and he don't know which way to turn. And I asked him a simple question yesterday. You know, he lives in California. He came out. He'll probably watch this eventually. But, you know, it was kind of a private conversation, but it was nothing extremely personal. It was something real simple. I said, son, I said, have you prayed about this yet? I said, have you asked God how to deal with this? No, he hasn't. So I said, you have not because you ask not. You have not because you ask not. I said, look, son, I said, God's going to help you figure this thing out, you know. Now, don't none of you people out there be sucking your breath looking at my son like he's some big terrible thing. Because about 99% of you have been in very similar situations. And that's why I'm putting this on YouTube today. And putting it on Facebook, because all those things that you hold so, you know, sacred, whatever, God, you know, God, He who is important more than anybody else on the face of this planet, is the one you need to be impressing. Not this nobody over here who doesn't really care anything about you anyway. Wouldn't lose any sleep if you died tomorrow and you're so worried about they find out something bad in your life. Give me a break. Give me a break. Listen, trust in the Lord. Trust in the Lord with all your heart. Lean not to your own understanding. See, that's why this stuff is put in the Bible. Psalms 27:14 says, wait for the Lord. Be strong and take heart and wait for the Lord. You know, King James says, wait on the Lord, be of good courage, and he shall strengthen thine heart. Wait, I say, on the Lord. A stronger statement. And I want to read just a little bit after that verse 14. Okay, just a little bit after. I mean before. It says, deliver me not over, verse 12, deliver me not over into the will of my enemies. See what it's talking about? Trusting God rather than the people. King David's writing here. King David, who was every bit wrapped in everything you could dream or imagine of as far as the things of the world go. You know, he had a son who was trying to kill him. He at one time had a king that followed, that chased him all over the countryside. This king that destroyed every army that he ever walked up against was after King David. You know what I'm saying? At one point he got so mad at David when he was living in his house that he threw a spear at David. And the Bible said it fastened his garment to the wall. Now when you start having problems like that, you know, then you can start telling me, no, I don't need that old Bible. No, listen, man, there's a lot of stuff in here that you have no idea that exists in the Word of God. His instructional Word of God that He left for you to live your life by. The standard that He left to live your life by. But listen, you have not because you ask not. You have not because you ask not. Men are so worried today about where's Hillary going? What's Hillary gonna? Is she gonna get away? Last night, the people at work, I said, Hillary's going to jail. I said, you watch. Oh, she's not going. I said, she's gonna sign a confession, and she's gonna squeal on Bill, more than likely. And oh no, blah blah blah. I said, you watch. But you know what? They don't trust in Him. They have lost hope. See, that's what happens when you don't trust in God. The first little thing comes along, man, you lose all hope. Everything goes right out the window. The Bible tells us, don't be shaken with sudden fear. Don't be shaken with sudden fear. When it looks like all hope is gone, man, trust. Put your stuff in God. Put your stuff in God. Trust in Him. Lean on Him. With all of your heart, all of your understanding, and everything that you are, trust in God. Let's look at when it seems like the country is coming to a communistic state. You know, don't say, "Oh, woe is me. We might as well go get our slave chains." No, man, get on your knees and say, "Lord, your Word says this, and your Word says that, and I trust in you, God, and I'm gonna lean on you until you bring me through this battle." Whatever your battle is, I don't care what it is. God has a way of getting us through this. Men are so weak because they lean on themselves. Trusting in God is not something that comes natural, but we want to trust in that which we can grab our hand onto and control ourselves. But no, you know what? We were not created for that. We just were not created to control life for ourselves. The Bible tells us a couple different times, God's desire is for Him to be our God and for us to be His people. And God is trying to orchestrate everything around us in that fashion to move us in that direction. But if we don't do that, if we don't move with Him, then we're going to be left out. Thinking, you know, this is the problem with the atheist. Where's God? I can't see Him. You're not looking. You are not looking. You're looking for what you can get your hand on, what you can control. Same thing with everybody else who has yet to ask God for these things. You know, the Bible tells us the last days people are going to begin to pray. But come on. We're here. Let's do it. Let's do it. Let's begin to pray. Let's start trusting God like we're supposed to be doing. Leaning on Him with our own. It says, trust in the Lord with all your heart. Lean not to your understanding, but to His understanding. Because that's the way it works. That's the way He created it. That's the way it works. All right, God bless you. Thank you for joining us. See you again next time. Another great message right here, Crossing the Middle Mystery.